videos from today if that worked. So now you're sliding down to that ankle. I'm just going to explain this again. And you want to make sure that you're not losing that posture, so don't round those shoulders or hunch that back. You want to keep that chest open. You can pull your jawline in. Some of you might be able to clasp those hands and put it over those feet, but that's not a requirement for that stretch. You stretch to where your body says, okay, that's far enough. I think you guys have been down there long enough. And then I'm going to have you move that foot like you're waving at me. You might not in this position be able to go out to the side as far, and that's okay. Just go as far as what your leg wants you to go. Good, and then you're going to slide that foot in. And then we're going to do that reverse warrior here. So you want that 90-degree angle here. And I like to move up in my chair so I have space back here. And I usually place that hand right there in my chair because my arms are long enough. And you're going to reach out with that arm in front with that palm up. And it's like you're throwing a ball over your head. And my arms are long enough to get more of a stretch. I just slide my hand down the leg of my chair. Good, and now you're going to release that, and then you have a couple of options. We'll turn in our chair once again, and one of your options is to get into this hip flexor stretch and reach back towards the seat, the back of your chair. And then the other option is to pull your heel to your rear, point that knee down at the floor. So either option is good. Good, and then we'll relax that down, and then you're going to turn and face me this way. So I'm going to about the middle of my chair. I'm going to put both of those hands on my thighs, and I'm going to bring my chest all the way down to my thighs. Good, and then I'm going to push strong back up to seated. Okay, so take that deep breath in here. Let it out as you come down all the way to your thighs. And then you're strong as you push yourself away from your thighs. One more time, deep breath in. And let it out. And be strong as you push yourself away from your thighs. And then you're going to bring those legs together, and you should be at the edge of your chair now. And you're going to bring yourself down to your thighs, and you're going to try to go right underneath your thighs and try to grab your elbows if you can. And then you're just going to let that upper body kind of just relax into your thighs. And then we're going to create space between your chest and your thighs, but your forearms are going to touch the back of your thighs. find an area that feels comfortable, that you're feeling a stretch in that low back. You might even feel it in your glutes, maybe in your upper back. Good, and we're gonna let that go, and then sit up nice and tall. We're gonna cross that left leg over our right leg, and we'll rotate that to our left, our torso. Shoulders are out of the ears. Good, and then we'll relax that back around, and then we're gonna slide that leg out wider so you have more space in here. You'll take that left hand and you're gonna grab the bottom of that left foot. And this time you're gonna rotate that torso to your right. Good, and then you're gonna relax that back around the knee, and then you're gonna get to the edge of your chair. We'll do a balance and strength move, and then we'll come down and do that right side of your body. So I want you to lean forward and then lift your rear end up off of the chair. You'll reach towards me first, and then you'll straighten that up, pushing through the heels of your feet. So those arms are gonna stay right next to your ears to start out with, and then you're gonna go into your chair pose. You're gonna try to keep your chest tall. So I'm gonna give you a demonstration, and this is not what I want you to do, but I don't want you to drop your chest down here. I want you to keep that chest up and your knees apart. Your weight should be on the heels of your feet. And if you need to look at the seat of your chair, look at the seat of your chair, and then you can have a seat in that chair. Good. And then you're gonna cross that right leg over and rotate that torso to your right. Good, and then you'll relax that back around to me, and then you're gonna do that loose cross. So you'll have more space right here, and then you're gonna take that right hand, grab the bottom of that right foot, and rotate that torso to your left. With all this, try to take a little inventory of your posture every time you hold it in a position. And then you can add those breaths. So you can say, are my shoulders relaxed out of my ears? Is my jawline soft? Good, and then we're gonna relax that back around center, and we're gonna get to the edge of that chair. I'm gonna change this chair pose up just a little bit, and then we'll do a split stance forward bend too. I wanna give you a little bit of balance and strength stuff. with this workout. So again, you can lean forward just a little bit, then I want you to bring your rear end slowly off the chair. That's where you should be when we come back down, and then you'll press through your heels all the way up. Once you get here, you can check your posture again. And this time I'm not gonna bring those arms overhead right away, but you can take a look at your seat if you need to. You need to trust where it is. And then you're gonna come down like you're gonna sit in the chair again. Just come down as far as where you feel balanced, your weight can be in your heels. And we're gonna try to rotate with this a little bit. All of us are gonna look totally different though. So what I'm gonna do is let go with my left hand, and I'm gonna just try to rotate that without bringing my knees together, okay? Maybe you wanna take that back of that arm and revolve that with those palms together. Maybe you just rotate that and leave your hands on the outside of your thighs. And you're probably like, okay, let's come up, yeah. So revolve that back and then open that up. Give yourself a deep breath in and let it out. If you need one more deep breath in, take another deep breath in and let it out. And if you want to lead with a breath into your chair pose, then do so. So you can take that deep breath in. Find that sweet spot of where you can be in your heels. You feel comfortable, okay? Now you can choose how you want to rotate that to your left. So maybe you take the outside of that arm, you open that chest up. Maybe you take your upper arm and you revolve that, placing those palms together. Maybe you rotate that torso, put the hands on the outside of that thigh, but you gotta keep the knees apart. If those knees come together like this, we don't want that. We want them out. We want to squeeze those inner thigh. Good. You can bring that back center and you press through your heels up and let that go. So now we're going to try that split stance. This is a balance and a stretch. And I'm just going to turn my chair and then I'll switch legs just with my chair turned like this. So we're gonna take our left foot first and put it right in the center of our chair with half of our foot underneath the chair. And I have pretty big feet. And then I'm just gonna step back in my split stance with my feet lined up perfectly. So both of my feet are straight.
Are they like one directly behind the
They
other?
don't have to be. It depends on where you can balance. So say you were just doing that like I am, then bring them out a little bit wider. Good question. So now I'm going to hinge from my hips. So I'm taking these crests of my hips and I'm trying to pull them back as far as I can. For some of you, you'll be able to put those forearms right in your chair. For some of you, you might be able to put your head in the chair. For some of you, you might feel ultra challenged and want to bring those arms behind your back. And I'm just going to look around the room real quick. You want to, if you can, to try to get both of those legs nice and straight. And you want to make sure the crest of the hips, you're pulling those back as far as you can, okay? So it's not a big, huge, wide stance in those legs. You want to be nice and straight. So when we come up to standing position again, you gotta make sure that core is in tight. So what I do is I squeeze that core tight. I find my balance in my feet. I might be touching my chair, and then I roll that up And then I'm gonna open up those palms and step together. And you can kind of just shake that out a little bit. I like to kind of do some body movement, relax those muscles for a second. And then you're gonna switch feet. So this time the right foot's gonna go right underneath, half of it underneath that chair, right in the center of the chair. And then I'm gonna step back to where I feel comfortable. Here's the crests of my hips, and I'm gonna pull those back as far as I can and forward fold, okay? You might be on those forearms in your chair, maybe maybe the top of your head's in the chair. Maybe you can go down a little bit further that you want the chair for a little bit of balance. Maybe you are like, oh, I'm having a great balance day, and I want to press my palms together right behind my back, okay? So you have to choose what works best for you. And I'm just going to take a look around the room. Check your posture one time while you're there. Remember, we want those ears lined up with our shoulders. Good, so when we come up to that standing position, this is challenging our balance. So we're gonna hold that core in tight. We might use the chair to facilitate our balance. And then we're gonna try to come all the way up. And then once you get up there, palms face towards me or palms face out. And then we're gonna step back this time. And I'm turning my chair because I turned my chair for the video to see. And then I'm gonna come around the front of my chair. And then you can challenge yourself down into that seated position, slow and controlled. And then we'll slide that right heel out. We're gonna clasp those hands, press them straight overhead. Good, we'll lean to our left and lean to our right. We'll get nice and upright. Take a deep breath in through our nose and forward fold. And then we'll slowly slide that up, and we're gonna pull that knee into chest. Once we get that knee into chest, you're welcome to circle that ankle, 4 in and 4 out. Good, and then we'll relax that down. We'll slide that left heel out. We'll clasp those hands and we're gonna pull those straight overhead. We're gonna lean to our left. Good, and then we're gonna lean to our right. Good, and then we'll get nice and upright. We'll take that deep breath in and we'll forward fold over that left leg. and then we'll slowly relax that up. And then we're gonna bring those legs out wide. So I really like this for scapular work, and I know it's not everybody's favorite. You'll see me doing this standing too. And we're just gonna try range of motion a little bit today. So it's taking that left hand and pushing against that inner thigh on that left side and looking up and over that right shoulder. And then we're gonna switch. You should feel this in your scapula. And if you notice, I'm taking that right shoulder and I'm turning it in to my center of my body. And if you notice me, my whole arm can go out straight when I do it because I still have that flexibility to do that. And then switch. So this is one of my favorites, right there. And then we're gonna walk those feet back in. And then we'll reach out with those arms. We're gonna take that left arm underneath that right arm, and then we'll turn those palms. And you can add some movement in that torso, so you can do some flexion and extension, some rotation, some lateral flexion if you would like. Another option would be to do some tiny little chair stand up and sit downs, or we could call these chair squats if we want. Sometimes this bothers people's knees if they've had knee replacements, but it teaches you, and you don't want those knees to come together, it teaches you to be strong getting up and out of a chair. So that might be a place. Then you're gonna relax that down, roll those shoulders back 3 times. Good, and then we'll walk those feet out again. So I'm gonna give you some options here. So you can do your reach and lean, or you can do my favorite and drop that shoulder, look over that other shoulder. Good, and when you're ready, you'll walk those feet back in, you'll open up those arms, and this time you're gonna bring that right arm underneath that left arm and then turn those palms. And remember your options. You can stay right where you're at if you want. You can add some torso rotation, some flexion and extension, maybe some lateral flexion, or you can try those tiny little squats if you would like. Make sure those knees stay apart. Gotta keep them straight ahead. Good, and then you can let that go and roll those shoulders back 3 times. Good. Do you guys want to go through a full range of motion in your body and then do some relaxation, or do you want to just go relax? Okay, like what we start with. Does anybody have any options? Okay, let's quickly go through range of motion and then we'll do relax. So we'll start with your head. We all know I like starting with the neck. So your options are side to side, up and down, ear into shoulder, maybe nose to your armpit. Okay, you can make that nose into a magic marker and then make your saucer plate circles. Good, and then we're gonna go to the shoulders. So we know we can roll shoulders back, okay? We can alternate rotations. You'll see me, I like doing these circles around my face. And remember, I like making sure I go each direction. Can you think of something else I do with your shoulders? This is my favorite, so my favorite is this. And then dropping those elbows down, bringing them around. And then what? We change those directions, so we point those elbows up. This always stretches my chest out good, so I love this direction. Okay, and then I usually will go into some lateral flexion. And this is a way to kind of open up with chair yoga. And then at the end, you might have a day where you're like, I need to do some more range of motion. And that's what you would do. And then we like to rotate. Sometimes I'll have you touch that opposite shoulder if you would like. Sometimes I have you just rotate and rotate. So you find what works best for you. You know, all these we can hold this, but we're just kind of going through range of motion. So now, another torso thing that we do are the rotations. Sometimes I'll do these tiny, small, more hip circles that you can feel more in where you're seated. And that usually helps us warm up our core a little bit more, but maybe at the end you might need that. Okay, I love all of my spinal movement, so I love my cow-cats. Okay, I loved rocking those hips side to side, and one thing we didn't do very much today is walking our hips forward and back in our chair. Okay. And then those knees into chest where we rotate those ankles. Those are always a feel good, and we can be supported with our backs against the back of the chair, or we can be out here where we're using the core a little bit more. Okay, another thing I'll do at the beginning too is let you just swing that lower leg. And then I just have you swing that other lower leg. And then I'll have you do that extension out. That's working the quad when you show me the bottom of the foot, so we can warm that up. But it's giving you a hamstring stretch. And sometimes I have you reach towards that toe. Sometimes I have you open up that other arm. And then I usually go to the feet. So the feet, we all know I love to rock my feet forward and back and inside and outside. You can also wave it side to side. I like doing hip circles when I'm standing with those too. So that's a way of going through range of motion at the end of a workout. So now I'm gonna have you shut that down in your chair. So what that means is you're gonna find your most comfortable position, and then you're gonna shut your eyes down. Once you shut your eyes down, you're gonna start relaxing every space in your body. And you might find a space that maybe still has a little bit of tension. One of my favorite things to do when I find that space, mine's always around my scapula. What I do is I count to 7, up to 7, and I contract that area even more. So I give that area more tension, and then I count back from 7, and on 1, I will have relaxed that muscle a little bit more. So if you have one of those spaces, I'll go ahead and count for you up to 7, and you can make that space more tense, and then you can start relaxing it when I start counting back from 7. So if you want to include this today, I want you to start now. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now start relaxing for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And fully relax that. If you don't have your eyes shut down, shut your eyes down and take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out and say, ah. Good, now take that inventory of all your joints. Make sure that they are tension free and all the surrounding muscles are relaxed. Just let go of that body. Let your body feel soft and heavy. Good. Let your body feel so relaxed that your mouth kind of just hangs open. Good. Now I want you to take that up and relax your mind. Let your mind be still. If you have any thoughts that are entering into your mind, just let them float on by. Today I'm going to count you back from 10 on 1. You can take another deep breath in and let it out and say ah. And then you can slowly wake that body up however you would like. Count you down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, you can take that deep breath in, let it out, and say, ah. And then you can wake your body up however you would like today. It could be wiggling the fingers and toes. It could be just sitting upright in your seat. Good. And then once you get upright in that seat, I want you to reflect on your day and think about something positive today that happened already. Good. And I challenge you to go out for the rest of your day and give at least one person a compliment today, a sincere compliment, okay? Then I want you to drop your arms open. I want you to take a deep breath in and scoop your good energies up, capture it in your hand, pull that good energy down to your heart center. Drop your chin into chest, let that good energy flow through your heart, letting your heart feel calm and comfortable. And have a great rest of your day and weekend. Namaste.
Thank you.